Okay, my name's Jeremy. It's Jeeps Unlimited here in Erie, Colorado. We're finally getting to some of our really cool stuff to list, which is this is a JK axle. It's out of a 2007 to 2014 Jeep Wrangler, which is the interchange on it, meaning if you have one of those years, it will likely work in it. The one thing you need to be cautious about if you're not planning on swapping the gears out in them is making sure that your front diff or your rear diff, this one here, matches the same gears that you have in your front diff. If you don't do that, you're going to have a major catastrophic grenade problem in your transfer case, because when you go to shift them, your wheels are going to be turning at different speeds, and all that stuff is going to come right to the center of the vehicle, which is your transfer case, and blow it up essentially. They just cause, and those are not cheap transfer cases. So take the time. If you're not going to be, if you just want a bolt-in application, which this is a factory axle, it is what came in JKs, but doesn't mean the gears are the same. These are high gears. They're more of a highway gear. I think it's a 322, but I'll double check and put that in the ad. But other than that, the axle's in perfect shape. The housing's in great shape. It's not bent. No rust on it. These, you can see here, I don't clean them up. We could wipe them down for you, but they're in tip-top shape. It's a complete axle. It doesn't have, it is an ABS. You can see the tone ring there. It's got rear disc brakes on it, and obviously what you see here is what you get. If you need the brake parts, you can call me and I can sell you those separately. The controller arms have been pulled off. The only other thing that we'll pull off of these are the e-brake cables, which are super easy to pull on, put on and pull off. Those will come off, but otherwise you'll get the cover back on it, and that's it. So Dana 44 rear end for a Jeep Wrangler JK. A lot of people wonder if you can put these into older Jeeps, and you can. The difference is the width of this axle is wider because the JKs are bigger than the axles that you will find in a, for example, a TJ or a YJ. If you're trying to do a swap like that, because there's a lot more JK 44s out there than there are those axles, my suggestion, there's a couple ideas. You can have your tubes cut, which is a little bit more involved, or what a lot of people are doing now, and regardless, you're going to have to re-weld your brackets. You'd have to cut these off and then buy a bracket kit or pull them off of another TJ, YJ axle, whichever one you're going with. That's a pretty easy thing to do as long as you know somebody who's a good welder. But because these are more of a full width axle versus a TJ, YJ, really the only way that you can put these under one of those vehicles without having, you know, your wheels stick your way out, which you might want anyway, give you a little more stability depending on what you're doing with it, is to put offset wheels on it. And that your wheel will mount here, but it'll be offset back into the vehicle more, therefore providing still not as skinny of a wheel stance, but much more of a better wheel stance versus the offset out wheels that brings it way out. So all these little brackets you see here, this is the way they come. So if you think they look bent, I thought that so too, but they're not, I assure you. It's where the control arms mount to them. It's just the way they come out. So again, a nice solid, clean, straight axle. We like to get cores back on these. We build our core pricing into our shipping price, so that means you do not have to pay for the return shipping of your core axle. In this case, I like to get a 44 back. If there's not a 44 coming back, I'll give you a partial core credit. And if you just don't want to hassle with it at all, that's not a problem. You just pay the core fee. We'd like to take these off and rebuild them and do other things with them. So that's that. That takes care of this axle. We'll have, let's see, we have 2 more rear ends, so total of 3 today. We have a 410 coming up here in a second that we'll list here in a minute. And then we have a couple front axles. The other idea, if you are going to be doing this into a JK or a TJ, YJ swap or Cherokee or something like that, is that you're going to want to probably get a paired front axle as well, so your widths are the same on them. Okay, my name's Jeremy, Jeeps Unlimited here in Erie, Colorado. Largest Jeep yard in the United States, probably the world, for rare parts. You can see we got 3 acres of nothing but Jeep parts out here. And as we get more and more organized, we just took over up here. Pretty much every transmission, transfer case, axle, body, tub, frame you can possibly imagine. As we get more organized up here, we'll list more and more parts. When we're all said and done, hopefully by April, May, we'll have roughly 75,000 parts listed for every Jeep from the 1940s to current years and every model in between. Appreciate taking the time. Again, it's Jeremy, Jeeps Unlimited, 720-987-8772 or 303-666-9020.